Hello again, everybody. Welcome back. Hey, next video here. I had such a good time doing that Westinghouse fan that I found myself a GE fan to go along with it. Since they were kind of rivals back then, I thought it might be kind of fun. So, just arrived here today. There's the box there in front of you from eBay. And let's go ahead and cut it open and take a look. We'll do it together here. Okay, there it is. Looks fairly rough there. And the good old UPS guy didn't do me any favors. Broke this back side out on it. Probably dropping it around. Just contended with that myself on the last fan, so well, that's going to be interesting. Doesn't look quite as simple and cut and dry on that. Alright, well, get you guys a close-up here. I don't know much about it. I don't know the age of it. I tried looking up some other pictures and whatnot for it. I couldn't find anything really that had a loop like this around it, but without the handle. I found many of the older versions that did have the handle up on top here. But, definitely looks like it's seen better days. So this one might be a little bit of a challenge here, guys. But I guess that'll be alright, huh? Part of the fun, I suppose. Alright, so there's that. Get it set aside and I'll see what I can come up with as far as getting going on this and bring you guys along with it. I'll bring you guys in closer on that damage on the back of this. I don't know how there's so many little shards. I don't know how I'm gonna fix that. Doesn't look too darn good there. You must have dropped that pretty good. It's terrible. I wonder if I can, I don't know. I wonder if I'll be able to fabricate something. That's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. Like I said before, I kind of, after I bought it, I looked online trying to find out how old this was, what the model was or whatever, and I couldn't really track it down. I'm assuming it's not very common. If it is, I couldn't find much on it. If it was, maybe I could find another back panel on that motor. But if anybody's got any suggestions, please let me know so I can figure out how to repair that thing. Alright guys, sit tight. So as I already showed you, the shipping damage on this GE fan. So I've been pondering it and thinking about it, wondering if there's a way around this somehow. So I'm semi wondering here if I can eliminate this, just make it go away, and maybe just make it a non-oscillating fan so that it's not a complete, it's not completely a loss here. Maybe if I neatly trim that off or cut that off of there and JB weld or some kind of a cap over the back side. Maybe we could just make it a non-oscillator. Finding parts seems to be kind of a joke, and I couldn't really come up with another fan that looks similar to this one. So I thought maybe that might be the way to go without having to dump crazy money into it. So let's jump into it. Let's start taking it apart and see where we're at. Okay, so first off, I guess we'll take the cage off of here. Let's get that back a little better where I can work here. Is our set screw. Let's see. So cord looks pretty crispy. It's not going to unwind here. Well, I guess it will, but look, you can see it breaking in pieces here. So it has definitely seen some better days, and clearly been a while since it's been plugged in. So I think what we'll do is just go ahead and cuts, perhaps, and just work our way down. Alright, I'll cut off our pile of junk, and we'll keep going. So let me unscrew this oiler here, maybe. This is our top pivot bolt here. And the motor will come right out of the stand there. I'm left with the ring. loosen that and pull that out. Needs a little assistance. All right, let's take our base apart here. A couple of screws here. And we'll have a look inside that. Take a look at the tag there and the switch. And we should, I think, be able to separate this. There we go. Some kind of a nifty little bug inside. Long since gone. Guess he's a freebie. Last remnant. And we can take a look inside here. A lot different than the Westinghouse switch that we just did on the other fan there. Work the ring out of here that held the felt in. Get that up out of the way. Along with what's left of the crusty felt. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to leave, I guess, the wires hooked up for the time being, so I know where they go. This looks to be riveted in here. There's that side. And that side. I guess maybe not riveted, but clips there. So, let me see if I can maybe get a hold of them. I don't know. Right here. Okay, got that. And I think if we gently pry that back, everything should come out. There's our switch unit. Left with our base. Okay. I guess those stay in. Straighten those little tabs up. Okay. All right. Now, let's take a look at this motor unit here. Looks like a couple of screws here. That whole cap comes off, and there's the inside. Really start seeing the damage from the shipping whatever. This little chunk out. Bushing, bearing, whatever. I believe this gear should just pull out. Yep. So I'm thinking maybe if I just zip, you know, with a Dremel or something, zip the rest of this portion off here. Maybe I can find something or some way to JB weld something in place there to cover that up and just get rid of the oscillating altogether. This doesn't even turn, which doesn't seem to be a great sign. So, all right, let's remove these off the back here. See if I can carefully start working that. There we go. Easier than I thought. Unscrew the front here. I think that should allow the stator to come out. Yeah. Yeah, let's see if that'll. Gotta be getting close here. There she comes. All right. Okay. That. There's our stator. We'll clean that all up good there. Okay. And lastly, we'll pull the little bearing cover here, or the bearing itself out. Well, I assumed that little triangular plate in there would come out after being unscrewed. Maybe it will. Or maybe it won't. So, to be honest with you, I'm not really too sure what the screws are there for. I don't know. The bearing seems to be spring-loaded there. Okay, well, anyhow, let me clean up here. Alright guys, everything's disassembled here. Got all the parts lined up so you can take a look at it. There's all the miscellaneous hardware. We'll do like we did on the Westinghouse fan, and we'll throw that all into a jar with some hot water and cleaner. There's our broken rear housing, our front cage, base, complete with tag, fan blades, base, stator, hoop. That's the top cap for the back. Goes over top of that that back housing there. Rotor, switch mechanism, and ring for the base to hold the felt. So that's everything. I'm going to go ahead and go get some hot water. We'll get some of the big parts into the ultrasonic cleaner, get that going. In the meantime, I'm going to take my jar and get my degreaser in there, and we'll just go ahead and start soaking the small parts and let that stuff kind of work at it there, and start the cleaning process. Alright, I've got some tap hot water into the ultrasonic cleaner. Let's get the basket loaded up with some of the parts here, and we'll set that down in there. I do have the temperature set on the cleaner to raise the temp there. Get it as hot as we can get it. That always helps. And then we will go ahead. Do that separately. Yeah, all right, we'll do the base, the two base pieces separately, as well as the cage there. So this stuff we'll go ahead and set down into the tank. Let that keep heating up. I'll dump a little extra water in there. Okay, so parts are in, some of them anyhow. Like I say, I got that temperature heating up on it. We'll go ahead, let's get hardware dumped into our jar. This is tap hot water with degreaser. We'll let that just soak for the time being, and then we'll do like we did with the Westinghouse fan. And after this stuff soaks, we'll just go ahead and we'll run the whole jar through the parts cleaner there. We'll just set the whole thing down in there like we did before. So hopefully this will loosen up a lot of the grime for now. Alright, we'll let it soak, get the cleaner going, and we'll pick back up later. Away we go, guys. It's been a half hour, probably a little more than that actually. Temperature's gone up a little bit. We're aiming for 99. It's not going to get there. It would take hours, but up to 66 degrees. This is in Celsius, centigrade. Take a peek and see how the first round went, if we can see in there. It looks pretty ugly. Let's see if I can get a hold of the tray and give you an idea of all right, I was kind of hoping for that. It's just like the Westinghouse. The ultrasonic cleaner is peeling the paint right off for me as well. Saves me a lot of sanding and whatnot, so that's good. We're going to keep it in there, let it keep heating, and we'll set the timer back up and let her go another half hour. See what that does. Give the other parts a little shake here. Clearly not as good, but once they get their turn in the bath here, they'll be good to roll. All right, come back again. So what's left on there will just end up scrubbing off with a wire brush there or something, and yeah. So there you go, hour and a half in the scrubber. Those don't look too darn bad. Okay guys, after going through the parts washer, I found more damage to the back of this. Obviously the main chunk there, but look around the bearing. The structural part around the bearing there was actually broken as well. This is on the back side. Obviously there's the oscillator. But there's a little brass bushing that threads in there to catch and allow oil down into the bearing for the shaft there, but that's broke out. So I'm still gonna move forward and see. I think you can see casting lines on either side here. I think what I'm going to do is cut that all off along that casting line and get rid of all this back portion right across it, and then epoxy this little piece back in, and then see if I can solder and or if I have to epoxy or JB weld something, some type of a cap over that bearing, and just make this a non-oscillating fan. So we'll do that. There's the little piece that broke off around that bearing housing. Not coming in real good tonight for some reason. So anyhow, gonna go ahead that way, and got the parts washer or the ultrasonic cleaner set up. These last few pieces here, we're gonna stick them in there with our jar, and we'll go ahead and get those cleaned up, and then we should have everything pretty well cleaned up. Maybe I'll throw this ring in there too. May as well. Okay. So let me get the little things taken care of here. I'm going to take the GE emblem off of the cage there before I put it in there. So let's knock that out real quick. Just going to kind of try to pry those up a little bit. All the little fingers that are on there. Of course, easier said than done. And let's see, maybe... try this little thinner screwdriver. Yeah, that's a little better. And that should pop over there now. There we go. I'm going to take that badge off too. It just kind of has a couple of little brass fold over, almost like rivets. So there we go. Alright. Last of the little parts there. Tighten that up and let's go ahead and get everything into the ultrasonic. See what the best way to do this. I think I'll set the cage down in there. Maybe. Yeah, we might have to do that on its own. Alright, so we'll give the old jar a shake here. Good measure. Set that down in there. This nasty thing. That down in there. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and set the old rotor down in there also. May as well go for it. Alright guys, lid on, set the old timer here, and away we go. Alright, while we're down here, I'm going to take a little 2-part epoxy here, it's JB Weld Minute Weld, and see if we can get a little of that in there and get that glued back in without making too big a mess here. Alright, so we'll give that a shot, see how that pans out. Okay, here we are after running a good portion of the parts through the ultrasonic cleaner. Worked out like I was hoping, pretty much stripped all the paint off. And then I went ahead and just gave it a quick run over with some steel wool. I got a little more work to do on this base plate here. Outside's not terrible now, but still need to take a little more of that rust off of there. The inside I haven't touched yet, maybe just a little bit brushing. But yeah, so that's not too bad. So these couple of parts that are good, I'm going to go ahead and start getting some paint on those. Our other repair job there, I put that epoxy on, and that's pretty well set up. So next step will be to cut that off like I was explaining before, and get that back faced off, and then we'll get some type of a little cover over the back of that and go ahead and get that painted up, and hopefully that's going to work out all right for me. So obviously won't be you know, what it's supposed to be, but I'm going to see if I can make something out of it anyhow. All right, so with a little cleaning, this is what the base turned out like. I'm not going to go too crazy with this because obviously, well, not obviously, I'm going to throw a coat of paint over it that matches the body, and then the obvious part is then the felt will be glued to it anyhow, so it'll have some protection on it, and it's not really going to be seen. The inside wasn't painted originally anyhow. At least when I got it, it was not painted on the inside, but wrapped partially with what felt was left on it. So that's good enough for me. I'm just going to slap some paint on it, and we'll, like I said, we'll cover it with the felt and be good to go on that. So there's that. This fan, I don't know if these are correct or not to that fan. I assume that they may be, but this set of blades is aluminum. So I've got those cleaned up. I'm going to do like the Westinghouse fan. And I'm going to go ahead and paint those to look brass. Again, just because I like that look, and that's what I'm going to do. And besides that, with this fan being damaged the way it is, I don't know if any of this is really going to pan out anyhow. I'm hoping that it will, but we're just going to kind of play with this one, experiment with it. It's not going to be correct. It's not going to be, you know, you understand what I'm saying. So that's where we're at with that, guys. All right, guys, I got the old Dremel here, cutting wheel on it. I'm going to go ahead and give this a whirl and see if see how tough this is going to be to cut off that excess there and just make that back panel flat. Thinking taking this all off here and this section here, I think I already said or described before, like where that casting line is. I think I'm just going to try to follow that on each side, and that should give it a nice flat surface right where this ledge, if you will, whatever. So we'll try to cut it to there and see how it goes. This thing's pretty loud, so I'm going to go ahead and work at it, and I'll bring you back with what I come up with. All right, here's the first little bit done. That's the easy side, and we'll see about getting this portion off. It's going to be a little tougher. It's a lot thicker over on this side. So, all right, here we are. You can see I cut off, you know, the rest of that back side there, and this is my solution. I grabbed a couple of brass fittings from Home Depot, and using some epoxy there to adhere that to the back so that covers that shaft. And you can see there's a cap there, so if I want to get inside of it, there shouldn't really be any reason, but if I want to, I can just unscrew that little cap there. And then yeah, so that's about where we're at. That's the best we're going to do, I think. But kind of an experimental thing here. Like I say, trying to salvage what I can off of this thing after being smashed up and shipping. So that's where it's at. Once this all cures and is solid, I will go ahead and tape off the brass, and I will go ahead and paint the rest of it. So that the brass actually stays as an accent and kind of goes along with the rest of the hardware on the fan, and hopefully it should look all right. I don't know. Like I say, trying to make the best of the situation here. So There we are. Alright, to go along with all this, I did go ahead on the backside of the rotor and shaft there and cut off that worm gear that was on it, just to make sure that it fits, you know, underneath the cap there that I came up with. Doesn't serve any purpose anymore anyhow, so I just went ahead and cut it off and made sure, like I say, for fitment. There we are. See, we got everything all painted up black here, nice gloss black. So we're going to move along. It's all dried. I cleaned up the stator here. Got that kind of brushed up and cleaned up. That's about ready to go. Rotor, that's cleaned up and ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and work on the switch. Get that cleaned up, have that ready to rock. And then I've got all of our little hardware pieces, parts here ready for a final cleaning. Everything's been cleaned and degreased. We'll go through with the Never Dull and get everything shined up and looking pretty there to put back on. And we got the felt. We'll get the felt on the base and all that. And we should be ready to start putting stuff together here pretty soon. So the base, it's not beautiful, but it's going to be covered with the felt and hidden, so I really wasn't too concerned with it. Just wanted to get it, you know, the majority of that rust knocked off of it and get a coat of paint on it so that it was protected. And it'll last for a while. So, alright, let me get these parts out of the way, and we'll get going on that switch and cleaning up the other stuff there too, I suppose. Well, guys, we had another mishap here. I guess that's going to be the end of this one. Obviously, as you recall in the beginning, I showed you the shipping damage on it. I thought I worked around it, and I was pretty confident that I did. And went to move all the painted parts off the tabletop here and dropped the back cover to the stator. And you see it now. So I guess that's the end of this project. I don't think there's too much to be done with that. So unfortunately, that's where we're at, I guess. Not real thrilled, not happy about that. Clearly, I thought I had this licked. Thought I was going to have a nice little stationary fan, but I don't think there's any salvage in that. I guess this one just was not meant to be from the get-go with the shipping damage and now this. So we're going to wrap this up. Sorry to let you guys down on that. I'm pretty let down on it. So till the next video, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.